All right, good afternoon. It is April 30th, and welcome to another SAT Solved Live. Right now, I'm on the run to finishing all of the QASs before the June test. I've finished quite a bit before this May test that's coming up in a week, so I'll be now finishing off the last dozen or so in the next month. Okay. Hey guys, glad to see some people joining from the get-go. Let me just make sure that that technically everything is fine. The audio is fine. The video is fine. All right. And today I want to keep things a little snappy, so I have to think a little bit about the format of the stream. Like if I only stream the test by itself and I do like no Q&A, it would be 65 minutes. I want to finish everything in 2 hours and 40 minutes so that I have like 20 minutes of downtime before my next appointment at 3. So what that does is it allows me to have about an hour and 30 additional minutes of content. So 65 minutes for just the actual timed test, and then an hour and 30 of in-between times. For that, what I'm thinking, I think then that what that basically divides to is about, let's see, I guess 15 minutes for each passage. 15 additional minutes for each passage is the maximum I want to do, because that would be 75 minutes. And then some buffer time around that. Okay, so right now I'm settling on this idea that for every passage, it should take me around 15 minutes for the passage, 15 minutes for additional talk time. And so every passage should be anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes before I have to move on. Okay, so I'll be keeping my eye on the clock this time, just to keep things snappy, which means that I may not be able to answer every question that's out there. Hey Maida, what's up? I may not be able to answer every question that's out there, but I should be able to at least answer anything that's related to reading. Okay, so if your questions are focused on in particular this passage, the test pack we're going to go through, then I'll give that priority. And if I can fit in some time to answer any questions about reading in general, then I will do that within the constraints of 20-25 minutes. 20-25 minutes for every passage. All right. So we're about to get right into it. Let me set up my screen and let me update my description. Give me a sec. SAT reading test. Oops, awkward. 2018 May US QAS. All right, guys. I'm hoping to see some people. If you guys have taken, the reading test, the 2018 May US reading test, and you're here to review, that would be amazing. Let me know if you've already done the 2018 May US, or if you've done at least one passage from it. If you haven't, one way of attending this stream is to actually front run me. And what I mean by front run is, so I'm not actually reading, I'm just trying to show you. Ooh, sorry, wrong program. Let me go into PDF Expert. Okay, so what you could do is you could front run me. Okay, that's also the wrong. Where'd my file go? Give me a sec. May 2018 QS full test, open in PDF Expert. Okay, sorry about that. So what you could do is you can front run me by going, hey, what's with this PDF? It's backwards. But anyway, you can skip the first passage and then maybe do the second passage while I'm doing the first passage. And then when I come to the second passage, then you can ask me questions about that during the chat. Okay, so that's one way of viewing the stream if you're watching this in real time. Okay, if you have taken the May 2018 US SAT, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, you can just watch. You can sit back and watch and ask questions whenever they occur to you, or you can front run me and then you can ask me questions on the passages that that you do alongside me. Okay, so that is that's it for setup. Let's get started. Sue, awesome, thank you, amazing. I'm glad to hear that. I think today might be the first stream that I have a person who's actually done it and is ready to ask. Maybe not the first, but it doesn't happen that frequently for me. All right, so let me set up my stopwatch. Okay, I'm at 00. We have no technical issues. My screen is showing. It's so annoying how bad I am at this thing, but yes, no technical issues. I think we're ready to go. All right. I'm just right now, before I even start, I just want to, set my mind, but my mind is on, hey, it's the SAT. I'm going to keep a playful mind as much as possible. I'm going to have a curious mind as much as possible, okay? What that means is I'm just going to be like, hey, these passages are actually generally pretty interesting, and I'm interested in learning about these random things and also answering some questions on the side. Okay, so that's kind of my mentality right now. Okay, because sometimes the literature passages are actually emotionally an interesting experience, and the science passages are sometimes intellectually an interesting experience. So I wanna keep an open mind and be receptive to these experiences. Okay, so I'm just reminding myself, hey, the SAT is kind of interesting. The readings are kind of interesting. All right, I've set my mind. I'm about to go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Dreiser, never read Dreiser in my life. Okay, Sister Carrie, 1900. Okay, here we go. To the play. She came to be stirred to her heart's core. So she's at a play by what is actualities, right? Been set singing in heart by the finery, the memory, the beauty she'd seen. Okay, the finery, the memory, the beauty. Oh, these women who had passed her by. Hundreds. Who were they? Okay, interesting. She's focusing on the woman, the dresses, the buttons, the knickknacks, some sort of luxurious, rich, lush furniture, the walls, the tapestries, their apartments, the money, in what stables. These horse, okay, this is a metaphor, okay, it's a metaphor, rested their course, the footmen of the man, okay. New York must be filled with, so she's not from New York, the narrator, some houses. Bowers, like, what are Bowers? I forgot Bowers. It ached her to know that she was not one of them, that at last she had dreamed the dream. Okay, exactly. Because she's not from New York. She's not one of them. Dreaming a dream. Solitude, that's important. That's important. Her indifference to the fact she had never achieved. Oh, that's a lot of. Okay, this is a big area for me. The play was one of those drawing room concoctions in which charmingly overdressed ladies and gentlemen suffer the pangs of jealousy. Okay, we're back to the play. I forgot what this means, but sure. This is the bon mot, or whatever, how you pronounce that, are ever enticing. Material, by the way, actualities material. They have the charm of showing. Suffering. So we're talking about suffering right now, the pangs. And they were suffering, okay? We're talking about the sufferings of these people, not grieve. Okay, there's a bit of irony. Suffer among perfume tapestry. Okay, interesting. Grief becomes enticing. longed to be of this grief. She wanted to take in her sufferings and put it in this world and to simulate them. So affected was her mind by what she'd seen at the play. Seemed an extraordinarily beautiful thing. Pause. I just want to tell you, because I'm finding it very hard to read and also share my thoughts at the same time, but at this moment it just started dawning on me that she's talking probably about the actors and actresses who are acting out some sort of scene on the play. She's probably not talking about the audience, but I'm only right now 70-30% right now. I'm not 100% sure. So I want to share this. I think it's really important for me to share this because I want you to know that I also sometimes misread things, and I'm sometimes I completely don't know where this is going. Okay, so I'm dealing with this doubt right now that maybe she's talking about the audience, maybe she's talking about the actual actors, like the characters on stage. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna solve this on my own. I'm gonna resolve this doubt on my own. Here we go. The world, she's lost in this world. Between the acts, she studied the matinee attendance. Okay, so she's talking about the people here. The city was one whirl. Okay, hang on. So, going out, Broadway taught her a sharper lesson. Okay, sharper lesson. What's a sharper lesson? Now augmented at its height. Okay, it's even sharper. Such a crush of finery and folly. Beautiful wording. Clinched her convictions concerning her state. She had not lived. New York was where she needs to be. We're spending money like water. Yeah, money, and she had scarcely enough pin money, right? So we focus on the money for a second, okay? That night, the pretty flat seemed a commonplace thing. It was not what the rest of the world was enjoying. She saw the servant working at dinner with an indifferent eye. What? The flat. Okay, we're focusing on the flat. She saw the servant. Scenes of the play. One beautiful actress, the wounded one. This woman had won her heart. Her dresses had been all that art could, the anguish which had... She repeated the lines of, oh, if she could only have such a part, how broad would be her life. She too could be appealing. Okay, 4:45. And I'm just going back a little just to frame my understanding of the play. Yeah. So at the beginning of this paragraph, she's definitely talking about the actors. Okay, she might be talking about regular people in other parts, but at that part, she's talking about actors, so that's 5:05. I had to go back and double check, okay? So I had to go back and double check. So I just want to quickly annotate that I do this is a little unusual that I had to go back and read again to see what actually happened, okay? So it's 5:05. Let's get going. Here's my summary of the passage, okay? I want you guys to check how well you remember the passage when you're just off of reading the passage. Because here's mine. Compare your map of the passage to mine. So, I think Carrie is the name of the character. Yeah, Carrie is the name of the narrator, and so Carrie's describing the scene at the play, probably of the characters in the first paragraph, okay? Not 100% sure, but probably she's talking about her kind of excitement and curiosity at these people who are being represented in this play. And they have such dresses and such finery and such furniture and she's imagining what kind of world do these characters come from. It's a world that's not her own. It's a world from New York, and she's not from New York. And she's been she's had solitude. This is the bottom of the first paragraph. She's been in solitude and she hasn't accomplished what she wanted. Okay, so that's the character motivation that we're getting right there. Okay, she has the desire, but then we have this contrast with her actuality, or with her reality. I use the word actuality. That's like a pun on accident. Okay, forget actuality. All right, and then starting at the second paragraph at the bottom of the first column, we're talking about her going to New York. Oh, sorry. Her looking at the characters again, and it feels pretty similar to the first paragraph for me personally. It sort of like melds into one, so I might need to go back and double check what the difference is. But she's looking at these characters and they're feeling very rich or something. They feel very like full. And at the bottom of the second paragraph, which is in the middle of the right column, she starts talking about the attendance, and she's talking about basically the attendance, about some of the people that are here. Okay, so not the characters on the stage, but the actual people. Then at the bottom of the right column, she goes out to New York. She goes outside, and it gets sharper. Her feelings get even sharper. She sees all these women spending money like water, right? Stuff like that. And then she doesn't have any money. And then on the third column, on the next page, on the third column, we talk about how all I really remember right now is that she really wants to be, she wants to be part of this world. She wants to be part of this world, and she says something about, she also can be appeasing. She wants to be like one of these actors or something. I forget, but something like that. Okay, so that's my map of the passage. Notice I'm trying to save some time today by not going too long about my map of the passage, but how is my map compared to your map? How is your map compared to mine? Right? Let me know how your memory was compared to me. More likely than not, you would have a worse memory than me, okay? But you should still at least be able to get the key parts, okay? You should still be able to at least get the key parts of what happens where. All right, here we go. I'm about to move on to I'm at 504, 88, right? So I'm at 505. I'm about to get into the next, into the questions. Here we go. 3, 2, let me change this to blue. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Provides insight mainly by externalizing what her thoughts are. No. What? No. Maybe B. Actual and perceptions? No. Okay. Maybe D. Okay, I'm a little confused honestly by this. So I that's not the way I would have described it. Line 2, stirred most nearly means. It was not often that she came to stirred to her court by moved. Okay, so that's moved. 550. Did I circle this? Oh, I skipped number 2. Sorry. One important theme developed is that Carrie, is that Carrie wants to be like them. Okay. B actually kind of works. No goal is unfeasible. I'm doing process elimination. Relations are more important than money. What? Okay, so I'm at 625. What main effects do the word knickknacks and concoctions have on the passage? That's line 8 and 26. 8 and 26. 8 and 26. Concoctions. Okay, it makes it feel strange, exotic, and causes no. It ought to be regarded, sure. Because there is a bit of an irony. That's kind of a tough question, huh? I think 7-0. I think it'd be tough for some of you guys. Yeah. Let me see. So the purpose of the series of questions in the first paragraph is to series of questions, first paragraph. Oh, who were they? Where'd they come from? Right. That first paragraph was the questions one. She's just imagining. Not the scene's authenticity. She's imagining what their life is like. Emphasize the contempt, no. Admiration. Yeah. Struggles? No. And actually, now I remember the second paragraph is more about their griefs, right? I forgot that that was the whole thing. My map of the passage was really bad. The narrator does not share Carrie's view of the type of play that Carrie attends. Wow, this is like that's a real literature question. That's a real lit question. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at 20 to 43. 20 to 43. Oh, the play was one of those concoctions. Okay, well, from 20 to 36, we get the real, we get his opinion. We get the narrator's opinion. Let's see. Let's look at 28-31 again, because I'm not really super confident. And the 39-41, that probably doesn't help. Oh, seemed. Maybe that. And 41-43. Process elimination, I'm not happy that I have to do this. Okay, I am tentatively choosing this. Okay, I'm eliminating this and I'm eliminating this. I have to come back. Where am I? 9:35. This is not cool. This is taking way too much time for me. Regards her day-to-day lifestyle as one that has been way less interesting for her. Okay, best evidence for not conducive to helping her achieve her ambitions. That could be at the very bottom. Gets 22-24. Let's double check. Do we have 22-24? We do. Okay, that's 10:05. Oh, thank you. Finally, an actual prediction that worked. She envies which aspects of their lives? Not their problems. Their indifference. They're like money and like but I think it's almost certainly D. I'm just gonna work with that because not their lack, forgetting, no, spare. Okay, 10:33. I'm doing more process elimination because I'm losing confidence in some of these. So it just double check. It helps me to increase my confidence. Carrie judges the performance of the actress who played the hero's sweetheart as amazing. Right? This is the. Wait, what's the name of the hero sweetheart? So it's over here. Is this the hero sweetheart? The sweetheart, there we go. Her dresses have been all that archetypes real, the anguish she could feel. Okay. This could be true. No. Maybe difficult to watch, or does she think it's inferior? Let's go. Better. Okay. I didn't see that. I'm at 11:50. Now I'm realizing a couple. Pause. I'll tell you some realizations. That occurred to me so I kind of skipped 1 and I skipped 6, right? And by skipping 1 and 6, I ended up rereading some parts of the passage through some of the other questions, right? So this is where I switched to green when I've already done my first pass. So green is my second pass. What I realized is that Carrie herself seems to be an actress, and I didn't catch that really. Okay, I didn't catch that. So it seems like this was actually a really important part, okay? It was a really important part to understand, but I didn't catch it my first time, which is my critical mistake. Because if you didn't read this part the first time, okay? If you didn't read this part the first time, you skimmed over it and you didn't catch it the first time, then you would not understand her background, a really important part of her background, which is that she is also an actress, which means that this would explain why she had never achieved what she had expected, right? And it would explain all of her envy and the money and everything. It explains everything. It explains everything as long as you catch this part. And so what was my mistake, guys? Okay, so I'm telling you my process first. My process was that I figured out she was an actress through the final question, okay? But what should I have done? I read this too fast, okay? That was too fast. I went way too fast. I skipped this part. I just assumed that I understood, and that was not good. That was not good. I lost my curiosity about this character before the passage even ended, and I should have been sensitive to the fact that a lot of times the SAT will reveal important information at the very end of their literature passage. Huge mistake. Because I didn't understand that, I think it made everything feel less efficient. Okay, I went like probably an additional 10 seconds here, an additional 15 seconds here, additional 30, just a couple seconds extra on every single question because I didn't feel as confident because I had to do extra process elimination, all that stuff. Not the best situation to be in, okay? I'm gonna restart time and I'm gonna go back to these questions now, okay? I'm at 11:58:30. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Throughout the passage provides insight how? By contrasting how she perceives herself and she's perceived. It must be D. I feel like just gut feeling. Gut feeling is D, but I'm not. I don't have the evidence right now. But for now, I have to move on because I don't want to spend more than 13 minutes on a literature passage. That's very dangerous. Does not share the same view. Is it 28 or is it 39? 28 to 31. Such bomb modes. I would say 28 is closer. Okay, so that's 13, 15. I am unhappy right now because I spent more than 13 minutes on the literature passage. And I think the primary reason is that I kind of missed some key features of the passage while I was reading it. I was rushing it too much. So my lesson right now, before I even score myself, I already know I screwed this. Because I knew that I already know my lesson. My lesson is I should have to take a little bit more time processing what's happening with the character so that I fully understand like her motivations and stuff. Okay. I think I rushed it too hard out of the gate. Okay, now let's get into the questions themselves. So what am I going to say? Let's score them. I'm not happy about it, but let's score it. I didn't write my final time, so let me write my final time over here. 13:15. Okay, and we're going to scoring. All right. And I'm not even high confidence on some of these. You know what? No. Because I'm not high confidence, I don't like doing it. So even though I'm gonna accept this score, okay, my green score is my actual time score. Okay, I'm gonna go to purple, And purple is for when I have unlimited time, because I actually want to be able to reason this out for you guys. So this is going to definitely take more than 25 minutes. But I want to be able to reason this out for you guys. So let me take some time to like piece together some of the parts that I don't understand about this passage. Okay, so this is untimed, me rereading it, because I want to be able to give a strong reasoning before I look at the score. You guys should always do the same thing, okay? You guys shouldn't just be like, oh, because I chose it under time pressure, I'm gonna score it immediately. No, that's being intellectually lazy. Go back, think about it, okay? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure I can actually understand it. So actualities, okay? Actualities is like material realities, as far as I can tell in context. Oh, these women, who were they? Today, a low song of longing had been set by the things that she had seen in the city, who had passed her by in the city. Whence came the rich, jealous, right? Where were their apartments loaded with the money, and what stables were these? Okay. So one thing I was unaware of, okay, that I think it's unusual for me to be unaware of this, but I was unaware of the setting, because the setting, you can get the setting from the came to the play, but today it had been set, okay, by the things that she had seen. Does that make sense? So she's right now at the play, but we're talking actually not about the theater, we're talking about everything she had seen coming up. I completely missed that. So that, I think you remember, guys, later on I was like, hang on, is the first paragraph about the play, or is it set in the theater, or is it set in the city? I had no idea. That screwed me. Okay, that screwed me. So this is in, you know what, I should actually just keep it. She came to the play, she had seen and had been seen. Okay, so we should know where she is. She's at the theater. She's before the theater. Okay, she's in the city. Okay, whence came? So here she's talking about New York overall. She's talking about New York overall. And she's not one of them. That part was not hard. This already gives me my answer. This gives me my answer to D. Okay, 1D is basically my definition. Now I'm very strong on D, because the first paragraph is all about New York, and then the second paragraph is all about the play. Okay, here we go. The play was one of those. Sue, yeah, amazing. So it's nice that we can suffer together, just like how these ladies and gentlemen suffer. Okay, I'm just making a stupid joke. Okay, so the play is now the setting of the second paragraph, and I somehow didn't catch the setting shift. So you guys, do you guys remember my map of the passage? I was like, I didn't really remember. You know, I said specifically, oh, my first paragraph and the second paragraph, it feels to me like they're talking about the same thing. It all sort of blends together. That's what I said in my map of the paragraph, my map of the passage. Oh my God. Dude, there was a huge shift. The shift was from New York to the theater, okay? And then the second thing in this is, here, we're no longer saying she, right? Must be, as in from her perspective, and then all of these questions, which are just, which is just in her head. This is in her head. And then so everything up to here, it's all just talking about her subjectivity, okay? But then over here, all of this is actually the narrator's perspective, where he actually kind of criticizes it a little bit. He kind of downplays it a little, right? I say he because it's Theodore Dreiser, even though I guess technically the narrator could be a she, but I'm going to keep saying he for now, okay? The author is Dreiser, the narrator is genderless, and the main character Carrie is a she, but I'm gonna just say he for now to simplify. A he for the narrator for now, just to simplify. Okay. So we have all of the subjectivity, okay, of her mentality over here. This is all inside Carrie's mind. Okay? But over here, we get the narrator. Okay? Which again, I'm normally much better at figuring this out, but you know what? I'm just not used to the SAT being so literary. This is actual genuine literature questions, and I actually was not ready for it. I was expecting it to be easy because I guess I got overconfident in all those easier literature passages in the past. So from now on, I guess I have to be less complacent about this. Okay, but yeah, we have that. So these questions are still up to the narrator. Okay, this is all the narrator. Oops, that's kind of awkward. Okay, this is all the narrator. And I cannot believe I didn't get that. But yeah. And then we come back to the she. Okay, so from this she, and then all these rhetorical questions, okay, who were they? Silver and gold, housed, right? Carriages, right? Provide. All of these questions, they're all from her perspective. This must be is also from her perspective, okay? So all of this is about her and what she's thinking. And then we go into the narrator's thought. That's another huge transition that I missed. It's so bad. I'm reading this terribly. All right, let's go. And that should actually help me answer the other question. But let me go through these questions one more time. The theme is, this comes out at the top right. Okay, imagined pleasures have the power to make life unacceptable. That's over here. Okay. And then let's look at 3, moved, yep. The things ought to be regarded as trivial. Yep, that's the narrator's. Oops, sorry. What? Okay. They ought to be regarded as trivial. Okay, so that's definitely talking about the narrator's perspective. Yeah, so that makes sense now. So I'm just this is the narrator. I'm going to write that out. Okay, the main purpose of the series of questions is to develop the, intense admiration. I think that's no problem there. And then over here, does not share the view. This one was really tough for me. 28 to 31, let's go. So, mainly we need to get somewhere between 25 and 36. That's the main thing, okay? And the only one that's within 25 and 36 where we get the narrator's view, right? Because it's asking about the narrator's view is 28:31. And 28:31 says, such bon mots are ever enticing to those who have longed for these things. He's right now describing her, but in a very neutral, like in a unsympathetic way. Like he's separated from her. So, that's definitely the right answer. And then she regards her day-to-day lifestyle as one that's not help. And that's 22-24. Yep, I got that. And then indifference. That indifference is down here. Spending money like water. Right. I mean, that's basically the most obvious evidence. I think that's good enough, honestly. Oh, as she views the play? Oh, hell no. Hang on, I might have gotten that one wrong. It looks like I'm rushing. Okay. She longed to be a part of it. She wanted to take her sufferings and to simulate, oh, that's the acting. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's acting. So affected was she that the play seemed beautiful. She was soon lost in the world that the play wished she might never return. She studied the galaxy of matinee attendants and she conceived a new idea. Oh, dude, that's talking about acting. Holy crap. No, this is wrong then. I got -1. What? The characters' lives? Their lack. The play? Okay, I'm confused. Give me a sec. So this is the other time that we're talking about someone from the play. Her suffering so real. So the only other answer choice that kind of feels like, I see, the opportunity to bear their sufferings in fortunate circumstances. Yeah, I got that one wrong. See, she wants to simulate them under the charming conditions. Yeah. She wants to simulate the sufferings under their charming conditions. It's an opportunity. But there is one thing that's a little awkward, you know. It's partly like she's talking about the actors and actresses, not really the characters, which is why I was a little misled by this question stem. But yeah, it's definitely C, it's not D. So right now, here is my situation, okay? I got 9 out of 10 from, my prediction right now is that I got 9 out of 10 in 13 minutes and 15 seconds. Then with the additional 10 minutes that I spent to just go back through the passage and analyze exactly what was happening, I should have 10 out of 10. So I got a 9 within time conditions and then +1 untimed. Okay, you guys should also be doing the same thing when you're taking the test, you know, to see if you can correct your own mistakes by increasing your understanding of the passage. I did understand a lot more about the passage the second time around, and so my lessons are, Saul, why are you not following your own advice? Slow down and read the thing, enjoy the thing even, you know, fully experience the thing. And yeah, that means that maybe if a literature passage is kind of hard, then yeah, just like lead into that, slow down a little bit so that you can keep your confidence level high. Okay, but this one I finished, I got 9 out of 10, so that's still pretty good. I think I got 9 out of 10, so that would be still pretty good, but you know, I was low confidence the whole time, not good. All right, here we go. I chose DB, DB are correct. I chose ADD, ADD are correct. I chose BAAD, but that should be BAAC, that's correct. So I got -1 and then I got +1. Okay, -1 and then +1 in my, you know what, for that I'll do it in purple. +1, okay? -1, +1. Then on 10, I chose A, and 10 is A, so that's correct. So I got 9 out of 10, and then I got a +1. +1 untimed. Bruh, that was painful. Jeez. I pride myself on my literature, but I got rocked. Okay, so my lesson for this one is Saul, not all literature passages are easy literature. Some of them are hard. So don't get lazy. Read it properly. Fully understand what the conflict is, what the character motivations are. Fully understand. Don't just like roughly understand. That's not good. Okay? Because that's going to shoot down your confidence the whole way through. Now, my lesson for myself might not be the same lesson that you should take for yourself, you know? Maybe for you, you just want to get to my level of understanding. But for me, I want to have a very confident level of understanding. So, you know, you guys have to derive your own lessons separately, but I'm not happy about that one. All right, let's take let's get going. So now I'm starting to realize what takes a lot of time. So I wanted to finish all of this by like 12:35-ish, but I went 10 minutes over. And the big reason is because I actually didn't understand that passage the first time. Guys, I might not be able to finish because I have something at 3 o'clock. I might not be able to finish this whole test packet today. Okay, so please understand me when I cut this short. Okay, but hopefully I can still get a 51 out of 52. Okay, by doing this correct. Doing this the way I tell you guys to do this, the way that I know is the right way to do this. Here we go. I'm at 13 minutes and 14 seconds, or 13:15, right? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. What it can and can't tell us about joy, guilt, anger, love. 2013. Anna Abraham wanted to find out whether the brain operates by different mechanisms. A real versus fictional. Okay. If it's different by real or fictional. So she designed an fMRI-based experiment that explored the reactions to situations, real or fictional. Okay. This is 13:55. And this is going to connect to emotional mechanisms. Okay. Do we have different emotions for real or fictional? One sentence scenarios, one's flash fiction. A real named Peter was involved in situations that included George Bush or Cinderella. In one set of okay, so this is the real, this is the fictional. Okay. Interactions with the characters. Okay, the other set. Okay. There's two sets of situations. They have to decide whether they were possible or not. Could it happen? Could it be real or not? Real or not? How does the brain operate? Wait, how does this have to do anything with emotions? Okay. Operate when assessing the two different types of scenarios. Intriguing, common to both types of situation with some level. There's common parts, so there's going to be some uncommon parts. Okay. Mental activity. Recall. Regardless, right? This is regardless. Or interactive. However, there were some distinctions relative to famous real person. The brain involved. Okay, sure. Autobiographical memory retrieval and self-referential. Okay. A famous real person. Whoa, interesting. Mirroring, but it's also involved. Okay, so this is fictional characters. So I'm going to put triangles here. High-level language. So George Bush is related to personal memory retrieval. Huh, interesting. Let researchers think that crucial difference would... Relevance. Okay, interesting. Not realness, but relevance. Okay, so they have a second experiment now. Put the brain 19 volunteers. Possibility. Okay, cool. However, this time the characters involved in the scenarios were ranked in 3 categories. Okay. Characters. It's a set, so it's not just 2 this time. Okay, there's more than 2. Last time was Bush and Cinderella. They're friends or family, famous people, and fictional. Exactly. And proportionately modulated. Awesome. Okay. Highest. Right. So if they feel relevant, you focus more on self-reflection and what do you call it? And autobiographical memory. Here's the explanation. Here's the discussion. So we have like a sort of fiction and non-fiction way of thinking. You are familiar with the basic behavioral behaviors. You ignore less something will come with you're aware. By contrast, you're not equally familiar. No matter how much you know, there still be something alien or inscrutable. Interesting. It's still limited compared to the wealth that you have about the real people. You need to dig deeper. Huh. Okay, that's an interesting conclusion. 45. Stop. All right. I feel good about this one. How much time did I spend reading that? I spent 4 minutes and 30 seconds on that. I feel good about this one. That was a hard literature passage. Holy crap. But at least this one I can... Hang on. I didn't finish the passage. I didn't finish the passage. I'm going to continue time. And then I'm going to... do my map of this passage. Okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. In the activity in the precunious and PCC. Okay, let me double check where PCC came out. Okay, this is for real people. It should be higher for real people. Real people, higher. Cool. Okay. IFG, this is for fictional. It should be higher for fictional. Oh, but interestingly, it's also higher for interactive. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. So that's 1815. But stop. This I made a mistake, so this is just taking me a lot of time. Okay, 1815 or 1820 now because of that time loss. Anyway. Okay, so that still took me what? 5 minutes? 1815? 1315? Yeah, 5 minutes. I'm good. Here's my map of the passage. Okay, compare your map to mine and see how well you remember this. So, by the way, the blurb didn't help, which is weird. I wish the blurb was more helpful, but it was not helpful. just FYI. I kind of wish the SAT would take a little bit more care of the blurb, but forget the blurb. Just ignore the blurb because it was not useful at all. Except for generally understanding the theme, the general understanding of the area of cognitive science. That's all it was. But the first paragraph goes into how there's been this question. I don't remember the background exactly, okay, but there's been this question of whether the brain processes real and fictional information differently. So by the second or third paragraph, we're already going straight into the experiment design because we have this hypothesis. What's the hypothesis? The hypothesis is that they do process it differently, I guess. Okay, so the top left for me is a little fuzzy. It's a little fuzzy. I have a little fog around it. I don't fully understand. In my map, there's a bit of a fog around the top left. So what I could do is I could go back and double check after I go through this. But then starting in like the middle of the left side, it starts talking about the experiment design. And this experiment design is a little complicated, but that's not super complicated, okay? There's 2 stages, and out of those 2 stages, there's 2 types of experiments. And in both of those, there's 2 variables. There's a variable with two options, okay? Basically, you're supposed to think about Peter. This is one character, like your point of view character. But from Peter's perspective, he's gonna be interacting with George Bush or a real person or Cinderella, a fictional person. Okay, and the first type of experiment is it's like informative or something, and the second type of experiment is interactive. And what we're doing is we're trying to see if different parts of the brain fire, and so the middle of the second column talks about what is common to them. They both use memory recall abilities. Okay, doesn't matter if they're fictional or not, if it's interactive or not, they all use recall. Okay, cool. So the brain that does recall parts, that's turned on. But then at the bottom of the left side, it starts talking about the differences. And so with real people like Bush, we get a idea that there is, with real people with Bush, we get this idea that we get some PCC or something that activates personal self-reflection and autobiographical memory, okay, which doesn't happen so much with the fictional. And then with the fictional, what we get is this IFG or something, where it it activates like a higher level language something, which comes out at the top right. Okay, so that's a big difference. And then there's like this one paragraph that I don't fully remember, and then the final paragraph. So that's a fog in that area, and then the final paragraph, it talks about why this might be the case. And it says that the authors say that basically when we're talking about real people. Oh, sorry, the fog I just lifted. In the top middle of the second column, it also talks about a follow-up experiment where they do a whole thing on these kids, where instead of just 2 now, they have 3 close people, famous people, fictional people, and it turns out it's proportional. Okay, the trend is proportional. The closer and more relevant they are instead of real, the more relevant the person is, the more you can turn on these autobiographical aspects of your brain. So then in the final conclusion paragraph, which is a pretty long paragraph, it talks about why, and that's the discussion of the experiment where they hypothesize basically. This would be a future hypothesis basically for future science, technically. Okay, well, that's a little confusing to say, so ignore what I just said, but basically what their discussion is that people can imagine a lot more because they have a lot more concrete, they have a wealth of knowledge about these relevant people. Whereas fictional people, there's always some mystery because you never really know who they are. That's their general reasoning for why this might be true. Okay. The 2 graphs I already analyzed for you guys, so that's that. Whew, that was tough. But the 2 graphs were completely in line with what the passage was saying at the bottom left and top right. It completely connected. So that is my map of the passage. It took me a while. It was a mouthful. It was hard to get it all out. How is your map compared to mine? What did I catch that you didn't? What did you catch that I didn't? Let me know in the comments below. I'm about to get into the questions now. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The purpose of the passage is to discuss how we react to relevant versus real versus fictional things. Real about results of experiments. It is informing us about results. Function is a little if. Yeah, factual. No. Okay, 1850, 5. 19, operate. How does the brain function? Function. 1905, 10 seconds, yay. Which choice best supports the claim that there are important similarities between how the brain responds to scenarios involving real people? Similarities. Oh, that's common. Oh, it's already here. Common. That's line 21, 24. I don't even have to look. I already know. 1925. It can be inferred from the passage that the results of the experiments showed that AA's experiments showed that the more relevant they are, the more we use autobiographical memory. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is the common. Oh, dude, what? Hang on, let me just double check. Did it actually say that? Because common to both types of situation. Yeah. Whether it was, informative. Yeah. That's totally correct. 2005. The greatest increase in the activity of MPFC would be observed in scenarios in which a real protagonist. Okay, MPFC. Let's just double check which one that is. Okay, so you want relevant, more real and relevant. Not unknown. Yes. Relevant. Very relevant. This is also relevant, but B is more relevant. So 2030. Okay, 20. Oh, best evidence? Relevance. Top right. So maybe up to 51. Okay, so 50-51-ish or 58 and 62-ish. Yeah, that's the second one. 56 to 62 is the one that actually explains the different character. Yeah, exactly. I'm good with that. So let's go on to 2105. Brain stores information about famous real people. I don't remember this, but that must be at the bottom right or mid right. Okay, even if you never met them, that's. Oh my God, I'm doing it in black. I meant to do it in blue. Oh my God. They will integrate into a structure in your mind, in the storage of your mind. You are familiar with, because they're human beings. You know, you kind of know what kind of people they will be. Okay, famous real people in a network of memories broader in scope. Huh? Seems about right, but I'm just gonna double check. Exactly? Probably not. No. That one was, I couldn't get exactly what this was, so I'm going to come back to this in a sec. Line 80, alien must really means. Probably like foreign. Let's see. Something, alien to us, something foreign to us, something that we're not fully aware of. Okay. Close to. The percent increase in PCC in figure 1, reacting in a scenario in which they have a real conversation with real. Okay, conversation with real. Hang on, is conversation interactive? Let me just double check. Yeah, conversation is interactive. Okay, so I'm looking at interactive, figure 1, real. Interactive real. So that's black. That's 0.13. Okay, so that's 2255. The highest percent change in activity in any was, okay, the highest percent change activity, so 0.2, hang on, what parameters am I looking at? Hang on, change it. So I'm just looking at the highest number. Okay. So that's 0.3, which is fictional interactive. That's IFG, fictional interactive. Okay, 2340. Stop. Whew. High confidence on almost all of them. I'm gonna just go back and I'm gonna resume time. I'm gonna go to green. I'm annoyed that I did everything in black because I want to have my blue annotations on the page to show exactly what I was thinking, but oh well, I just can't. I can't remember what I annotated, so gotta move on. So I'm gonna go back in green and I'm gonna just double check 17 and just sit on it for a little bit. I think it should take me less than 30 seconds, honestly, because I kind of know the evidence. I just need to sort of synthesize it in my brain so that I'm higher confidence. Okay. On the real test, would I even do this? I'm at 12, so I'm at 2340. So actually on the real test, I don't think I would do this. No, you know what? I wouldn't do this on the real test. So I'm gonna go to purple. Purple just means untimed, and so it's just for the sake of the stream. So before I score myself, I just wanna be able to fully develop my reasoning. But on the real test, I would not go back honestly on that one because I'm already pretty confident on that one. I eliminated all the other ones. So I'm committing to my answer on that one for the timed part of this stream. Okay, here we go. Famous real people in a network of memories, that's cool. Broader in scope than memories about fictional people. So I just need to get the broader bit into a wide, comprehensive, connected structure when we talk about real characters. Yeah. When we talk about real characters. Yeah, that's correct. Broader than fictional. Broader than fictional is coming from the idea of when we talk about real people, even if you've never met them. Okay, that is broader in scope than memories about fictional people. We can definitely get that from the passage. So I have full confidence in that. I didn't use any extra time because I told you I wouldn't. So here we go. Let me go and score them now. And guys, I think you might have noticed what's the difference. This time I actually understood the passage, so I could do a lot. I could just like slice and dice my way through the questions. It was much faster. Huge difference. Okay, but I hope that's an informative lesson for you guys. Here we go. My answers are 11 through 13. CCA. Are you serious? Okay. It's BCA. I got one wrong. And then 14, 15, BB. Oh, I'm so sad. BB are correct. BDB. 16 is... Apparently it's CDB. Wow, what a mess. And then CB for 1920. Hell no. Are you serious? I got 2 wrong on this? That's insane. Okay, I mean, that one's kind of stupid, but I got it. So with 11, it's... Hang on. B is so broad that it's not inaccurate. I'm trying to come up with a good reason why C is actually wrong. The main purpose of the passage is to explore how brain processes factual and fictional information. Is that why it's wrong? I guess that's what they're going for. Inform the reader about the results of experiments on brain. I guess explore, if we put some pressure on explore, but it's explored through these experiments, so I don't think it's... Hang on, let me just double check. Are we not talking about processing factual information? How does the brain operate when assessing these two fictional and real situations? You know, so I think that most of you guys would have chosen B. I think most of you guys would have chosen B because you saw factual and then you would have been like, oh my God, of course it's talking about factual and fictional. I think that's like the simpler way of thinking. And I was going through a more complicated way of thinking. A complicated way of thinking that ended up harming me. But brain function. I mean, it's true. Function is such a broad word that it could mean all of this. And for me, I just thought, but I was, in my head, the idea of function was a little more specific. Like, you know, when you, like what it, not like brain operations, but more like brain, what it functions to do. So it's like a more like purposive behavior. Is kind of what I was thinking at the time when I read function, which is why I put parentheses around it. I don't know. I don't know if, I'm kind of curious who else chose B on, who else chose C on 11 and rejected B, specifically rejecting B. Because I don't know if I'm the crazy one here or if the College Board is the crazy one, because I'm not sure. Like, I think there is a really obvious way to get C, to eliminate C, but that obvious way of eliminating C doesn't seem like completely sufficient to me. I kind of wish it was cleaner. The obvious way to eliminate C is say factual and fictional, but the idea of factual kind of never mind. I don't want to get too complicated for you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. But that is you know what? I don't even fully regret this. I don't really regret choosing C and getting this one wrong, because I don't think I'm crazy when I chose C. But I don't know. I'm gonna let that one go. Maybe there's a better explanation that I can come up with. Like maybe I'm missing something right now. So if you are seeing something that I'm not seeing, please let me know in the comments below. But that seems a little strange. And 6264, let's go. Let's see. Interacts with real people who are childhood friends. Okay, I must have been overconfident on that one, huh? Oh, I guess that... The greatest would be observed in which we talk about someone we were close with. And then this is the final conclusion. Actually, the best answer would be 64 to 67, but 64 to 67 doesn't exist. So 62 to 64 is the thing that talks about. Yeah. That one was an error. That one I genuinely made a mistake. Why did I make that mistake? Because I was looking at what was my prediction? My prediction was interacts with real people who are childhood friends of the subjects. And then I said, oh yeah, I need to look for the evidence that talks about closeness. So then I went down here. Oh, so first I went to relevance. And I was like, that's the right answer. But if it's not that, then it's here. And then I just moved on. But here, I should have not chosen this, because the full sentence here is just, this is just experiment design. You know, it doesn't actually tell me anything informative about the factual mass. I should have been suspicious of this. I think I just rushed it. If I had been doing a little bit more process elimination, like if I was more leaning towards process elimination, then I definitely would have caught it. But instead, I went full prediction, and I was overconfident on it without fully reading this sentence. On the real test, would I make that same mistake? I don't know. It's sort of a toss-up. Because one of the reasons why I went on this faster was because I'm behind time on the first one. Oh well, I'll let that one go. So I got 3 wrong total. Here we go. And 2 wrong on this passage. So I got 8 out of 10. And yeah, 8 out of 10 on 23 minutes and 40 seconds. But I did save a lot of time. So I do feel way less pressured. Okay, here we go. Hey. Mexico, thank you. What's up? It happens. It happens. What was the one I got wrong over here? Okay, yeah, because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, that's the one where I wasn't paying attention to setting. I'm more upset about this passage than I am about this passage, even though I got more wrong on this one. I got more wrong on this one, but this one question just feels a little iffy to me. Like, kind of like, am I the crazy one, or is College Board the crazy one? I feel like on that one it's a little bit more defensible. And then on 16, that was a dumb error that I could have probably solved more quickly, I could have solved easily. And you know, I can come up with excuses for why I make these mistakes, but whatever. You know, you guys know. I'm just showing you how I really do it. And talking through a stream, it's tough, but I think it's actually good training. I think if you guys try talking while taking the test, it'll force you to be really sensitive to your thoughts. So you might actually do worse on the test, but you might learn a lot more. But because you'll be thinking about your mistakes as you go. So yeah, not a perfect run, but whatever. Here we go. We're at 2340. I'm just thinking about my time right now. It's at 1:15, so it took me about 35 minutes per passage to get through this. It's not terrible. That means that realistically, I think today it's better to just do 3 passages so that I can save 2 passages for next time. Okay, because I will not be able to finish this by 3 o'clock. So actually, maybe I will, but I want to finish at 2:40 though, so it's kind of iffy. Guys, I am right now mentally prepared to just do 3 passages instead of 5 today, because I have other appointments later on in the day, and I need to prepare for them. So just know that I probably will not finish more than 3 passages today. Okay, here we go. Passage number 3, let's go. I'm at 2340. 3, 2, 1, let's go. We're talking about genes, which the evolution of cats. A house cat versus a wild cat. It might take you minutes to spot the difference. What's the difference? But it's tame and adaptable. And what is the genetic changes that makes taming happen? The findings, based on that, could shed light on how others become tame. Okay. This is the closest thing to a smoking gun we've ever had. Like, we have the best circumstantial evidence possible. Compared to a decade ago, okay, we're much better. This is GL speaking. We're at 2430. About 95,000 years ago, not long after they took up farming, sure. They came for the rodents and came into the villages. They mostly, okay, so this is many scientists suspect, were the friendliest ones able to take advantage of human table scraps. Okay, because, right, the more domesticated you are, you become more friendly and you can get table scraps and protection. And they shrank in size, so they became friendlier, they became smaller, and similar transformations have happened with cows and dogs, but we don't know about the genes. Okay, cool. 25. I think I'm going a little too slow because I'm talking too much. Some of these genes, we have over here. Female Abyssinian. Okay, compare. The methodology was by comparison of the genome. 2550. Recent selections. Some appear to be in the senses, others in metabolism. But the most intriguing findings came 22 domestic. Oh, hang on. This is a different one. So this one is only about Abyssinian. But we don't have a year. That's very strange. Okay, covered at least 13 genes. Cognition, fear response, learning new behaviors. They would have to become less fearful. Right. You have to have less fear for domestic cats. Interesting. Wait, so this is a second this is a second essay or second study. KLT. Glutamate receptors for learning and memory. So this is the learning idea we had earlier. This is the learning. And we have the fear. 5 genes that influence migration of neural cell crest cells, whatever the hell that means. Skull shaped, okay. Smaller brains, pigmentation patterns. Okay, interesting. This is all, yeah, a bit wilder than than the dog. Wow, William Murphy, so many names. Less intense, more recent evolution. 30,000. Cats were how many? 9,000? 9,500. I see. 2830. Stop. All right, that was pretty good reading. Pretty good reading. Pretty happy about that. That took about 5 minutes to read, so it's still very fast actually. I'm not trying to be fast, but I'm being really fast. In fact, if anything, I'm being so fast that I'm actually making myself nervous. But anyway. So that is, that's the third passage. Here we go. I want to get 11 out of 11 on this one. Is it 10 out of 10? 10 out of 10 on this one. I want to get 10 out of 10 on this one. All right. So let's have a good map. Here's my map of the passage. I want you guys to compare how well you remember the passage with how I remember the passage. Dark, what's up? Here we go. First paragraph talks about something. Cats. Wildcats and cats. There's like the first sentence is something about wildcats and cats. I don't remember exactly. The second paragraph talks about the history of cats being domesticated, the background of like how they 9,500 years ago they came in and they came with they came for the rats, and then some of them became friendly and stuck around for table scraps and blah blah. That's the second paragraph. The first paragraph I continue to not remember. Do we have a experimenter name come out or anything like that? Whatever. I don't remember that. And then at the bottom left, we have an actual experiment. We have a development in 2007, I think, when we get the genome of a particular Abyssinian, and this researcher whose initials I don't remember because there are too many researchers. But there's this researcher. He has his team, and he compares this genome and finds in the top right, like something, it's like some big number of genes. Was it like 90 or something? I forget. Some big number of genes that talks about a whole bunch of different changes that are recent evolutions. Okay, it's kind of includes the domestication changes, but this is just a very broad change. Okay, just a bunch of changes. It's a wide net. So it's not specifically about domestication. Okay, pause. Top left, I just remember what it was. It talks about, it just asks the hypothesis. Okay, it just gets the research area. Like, compare two different cats, a wild cat and a domestic cat. What's the difference? Well, they're small and blah, 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 but they look very similar, but there's some differences. And what it is that the small cat is tamer. And then just ask the question, what genetically made them tame over time? What caused that? What genes are involved in that evolution? Okay, that's what the first paragraph was about. I just remembered. Now going back to the top right, I was just talking about the first study, but then there's like the second study which identifies 22 genes or 23 genes specifically because they're looking at like 17 cats or something like that. Okay, I don't remember the exact numbers, but the numbers were smaller than the previous one, okay? As in the previous study, the first study only looked at one cat. The second study looks at many more cats, but they only focus on like 20-something genes. And these 20-something genes actually have 3 characteristics, okay, that they point to. These 3 characteristics kind of go like, they kind of get mixed in, and so it's not like neatly organized, like characteristic 1, characteristic 2, characteristic 3, because the next 2-3 paragraphs are all sort of jumbled, but there's 3 characteristics, and I marked them all, and I don't remember all of them, okay, but I will just say, what I remember is one of them has to do with like their diets changing, one of them has to do with their external like appearance, like skull shape and coat color changing, and one of them has something else to do with something else, maybe closer to the cognitive ability to like learn, okay, their ability to learn. And so actually the diet one might not be the right one. The diet one might have been from the previous study, I don't remember, but anyway, there's a bunch of these little things that changed, okay, and these are the things that are relevant for domestication, for being tame. And then at the bottom of the right side, we talk about, and along the way, there's some people who really love the learning changes. Like there's some, I think in Sweden or somebody who really loves this research. And then I don't really remember the bottom, but we start eventually talking about, well, why not dogs? Okay, so when we go to the very bottom, okay, it says, why are they wilder than dogs? Why are cats wilder than dogs? Well, it's because dogs have been around with us for 30,000 years, unlike cats, which have only been around for 9,500 years. It's more recent. That's my map of the passage. How was your map of the passage compared to mine? Let me know in the comments below. Whew. So I had a pretty decent map, okay? My literature map today was the worst, and my second and third maps are pretty good. So I'm pretty happy about these. Let's get into the questions. All right, and this time I'm actually doing the blue pen correctly. I'm at 28:30, so about to start. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The main purpose of the passage is to discuss how the genes that make cats, not the genes themselves, but how they've learned about the genes. How they learned about the genes. Genetic, no. The genetic changes, part of domestication. Yep. 28:55. Phrase and well, most likely too. And well, they both look like cats. So it's just like, appealing to common sense. Obviousness, yeah. 29:10. Suggests that some scientists would agree with which statement about domestication. Some scientists would say something here. Where is it? Okay. They domesticated themselves. I was looking for that. Yep. It's crazy how I just remember that. It's right there. That's 25. Stop. Do you guys know why I could predict that? It's because I remember how I put a triangle here? It's because for a moment I thought, many scientists suspect they mostly domesticated themselves. And then I thought what would happen is, but these scientists are going to argue that they didn't domesticate themselves. I was thinking of something like that, right? That maybe that will come out. So I sort of made a mental note. Okay, many scientists suspect this. So maybe these other scientists, like Gregor Larson, might have the opposite position. So I made a mental note here. And because I made a mental note here, okay, because I was anticipating what might happen, I saw this part and it said some scientists, and I was like, hang on, I remember that. So I just started looking for it, okay, and then I found it over here. Okay, that's how I got that. So that's how I got that in 20 seconds. Okay, I'm at 29:45. So I'm about to restart time. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Montague's team achieved the results in 52-67. Okay, they sequenced 22 genomes. Sequenced 22 genomes around the world, compared the genomes, and identified the genes that have. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. That's literally exactly what they did. Oh wait, but they compared them with the genomes of 4 wildcats. 4 wildcats. That's not exactly what they did. Genomes. Yep, that's exactly what they did. 30, 40. Okay, moving on. Gene changes in domestic cats is based on the assumption that oh my god, sorry. We're looking at similar genes that are dissimilar. So basically, the assumption is that if there's dissimilar genes between the wild ones, then that means that that's a change. Genes associated with particular characteristics. I guess that could make sense. Can be completed by parallel sequence? No. Some breeds of domestic? No, that's off topic. Changes to the simultaneously. No, that seems very off. Okay, I'm gonna find the evidence for this, but I don't know where to look. But I'm gonna look at the top right, so that's probably 57 to 76. Okay. Oh, species. Well, we're talking about species? 5960? Species. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of breeds. 5960. Okay. I was misreading that question. Oh, that could have been dangerous. It could have taken way too much time. Oh man, I misread the word species, and I forgot about the mice. The discovery that the genes in domestic cats influence the migration of neurocrest cells important because neuros. So that was at the bottom. It was the middle right or something. Where's the neurocrest cells? Here we go. Oh, it's the bottom right. Oh, this is the foggy area, the part that I didn't remember. Oh, because this is all the physical, the skull shape and the color and whatnot. Okay. So because neurocrest cells are critical, I don't know about critical. Fundamental to overall process. I guess C is a little broad, but it seems accurate. Master control switches. Explain why they share common traits. Yeah, I guess it's a little. I don't know. I don't really like that wording. Okay, I don't like the wording, but I'll work with it. 83 common traits, because I think that it's talking about the same thing. Control switches. Common traits, such as smaller brains and pigmentation patterns. Common traits just means commonalities. It means features that they have the same. Yeah. 3330. Quotation, the last sentence in the passage. Cats were not selected for a purpose, like dogs and others. Oh, I completely misunderstood. Yeah. Explains why. Continual changes. That's weird. Yeah, explains why they developed kind of later, and why they're still. So I want to explain what's interesting about that. Okay, I completely hadn't read. What do you call this? I didn't notice this quotation when I first read it, and I think that's a bad habit. For some reason, I keep rushing through the last paragraph for some reason, which I don't think I normally do. But on the first passage and now on the third passage, I sort of skipped over the last paragraph. That's not good. But this is interesting because what is this connecting to? It's connecting to this idea that many scientists suspect that cats mostly domesticated themselves. It happened almost organically. Just they naturally came around and discovered this thing called, hey, it's called, oh, what is this, human village? Okay, they come around to the human village and they're like, whoa, there's hella rats here, man. It's hella food. So they're like hunting the rats. And then it turns out, hang on, why is that full? So I'm like a cat and I'm talking to some other cat. I'm talking about some other cat. You know, why is Fluffy over there getting all these free treats from those human beings? And it's like, oh, because Fluffy is cute. Fluffy is being sociable and I'm being paranoid and antisocial. That's why. You know? So cats sort of organically evolved to be domestic. And to come back to this passage over here, cats were not selected for a purpose like dogs and other domesticates. What are the examples of the other domesticates? The cows. Dogs and cows are the primary ones. Well, those are selected specifically for hunting and for farming, not farming, but yeah, farming. But hunting and for farming, right? So that's why that makes cats very different. And I think that's an interesting insight that I didn't pick up on until I saw this question. All right, let me score myself because I'm confident in all my questions, and you know, the last passage was honestly a legit tragedy. But you know, that doesn't mean I have to just because something like that happens doesn't mean I have to reduce my confidence. That's not the lesson, okay? My lesson was very specific. It was, hey, with the evidence questions, right? Does it really supply the evidence that you need? Or are you being lazy and just sort of looking at the words? Okay, I was being lazy and just looking at the words and I just moved on way too quickly. It was because I was rushing for time. That was my main lesson from the previous passage. And the one that I got, the other one that I got wrong, number 11, like honestly, there's no lesson for that one. I'm just gonna leave it alone, okay? Because I feel like I'm not being that crazy when I chose it. And I think most of you guys will get that one right anyway. It was just me because of my quirky way of thinking. Whatever, I'm gonna accept that one. So again, I'm not reducing my confidence just because I got some things wrong, okay? Just because generally these numbers are oppressing me. No, these numbers do not oppress me, okay? The numbers at a statistical broad level have no influence on me. It's only the lessons that I get, okay? Oh, that's my lesson, right? So then I should adjust to that lesson. So I'm not changing my confidence at all. Here we go. So actually, how fast was that? That was 34:05. So that means I did that in 10 minutes and 15 seconds. 10 minutes and 25 seconds. So that was pretty fast. So I'm feeling good. 21 through 23, I chose CDC. CDC are correct. Then I chose AC. AC are correct. Then I chose ACC. ACC are correct. And then I chose DB. DB are correct. That's 10 for 10. Okay. It's a legit tragedy that I have 27 for 30 so far. It's a 27 for 30. But you know what? I'm also 5 minutes surplus right now. What that means is I have 13 plus 13 minutes left, plus 5 minutes. 13 plus 13 plus 5. So I'm feeling pretty good. It means, for example, I could do 13 minutes and 18 minutes, or I can do 18 minutes, 13 minutes, or like 16 minutes and 15 minutes, you know. So I have some time. I have some time for the next two passages. All right, it is 1:40. If I make no mistakes, I could probably finish at 2:50. Oh, 2:50 is, yeah, no, that's too much. Guys, for today's stream, I just don't want to feel too much pressure for like, you know, due to the rest of my schedule, okay? So for today's stream, I will finish it here, okay? After 3 passages. So now I have 2 more passages that I'm going to work on soon. I will work on this as soon as possible. I need to actually find a schedule for this because originally my plan was to do all 5, but I guess with there are certain, like, because I made some mistakes on the first passage, because I made some mistakes on the first passage, it took me a lot of extra time, and then it became very unrealistic to do it very tightly, like in 2 hours and 40 minutes to do 5 passages. So it was unrealistic goal in the first place. I need to give myself a little bit of slack so that I can make mistakes and stuff like that, and explain. So let me just actually look at my calendar. Give me a sec. Oh, I can do it after dinner today, because one of my classes got canceled. So, guys, I will probably be able to, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I could do 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. Let's do 7. I'm going to do 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to finish off these next 2 passages. The next 2 passages are probably going to be pretty tough because we had 2 fairly easy science passages for me. So I assume that the next science passage. So by the way, I clump social science and science together into just science, okay? Because the format of science passages are basically all the same. You still have to understand the hypothesis. You have to understand the background for the hypothesis. You have to understand the experiment designs, or like the way that they did the study, right? Methodology sometimes is what it's called. And then you have to get into the results and the discussion, right? That's the generic format for a science passage. Doesn't matter whether it's social science or hard science or natural science, whatever. It's always the same key ingredients. Whereas literature has its own conventions, and then debates and speeches have their own conventions. So those 2 are kind of unique from the science passages, but the 3 science passages, regardless of what kind of science it is, it still tends to follow the same conventions. That's why I call them the science passages. So the 3rd science passage is going to be pretty tough, I think. And the history will also be pretty tough, I think. Hopefully it'll be a little easier because the literature one was pretty tough, but we'll see. So we'll be able to get over those ones at 7 p.m. today in Eastern time. That is, by the way, just for everybody who's curious, that's about 5 hours from now. Okay, 5 hours from now, I'll be able to finish it off. Okay, so looks like no one has any questions. Everyone, I'm free for about, I can be free for like another 10 minutes. So if you do have questions, shoot. Let me just see what I can say about the SAT first. No, I think I've kind of said everything I needed to say. I'll just summarize it. Okay, so I made 3 mistakes so far. I got 3 questions wrong so far. Personally, I think I made 2 mistakes so far. The first mistake is that I rushed my literature passage, even though it was a harder literature passage. I don't know why I did it. It's because I guess maybe I got too fixated on this idea that I always have to finish a literature passage in 10 minutes. Because I talked about this earlier in a previous stream of usually literature passages only take me 10 minutes. And then I guess I pressured myself. It's like, oh no, I have to finish it in 10 minutes. And I rushed it. I rushed the reading of it even though I didn't fully understand. And so my map of the passage was garbage. It wasn't garbage, but it wasn't good. And then I ended up doubting myself a lot in the questions. And I ended up doing a lot of process elimination. You guys remember that, right? So that was my mistake. That was the super mistake that led to a bunch of consequences in the first 10 questions. Okay? And then one of those questions I got wrong, which is natural when I don't understand the passage in the first place. And then my second mistake was on the second passage, I think I overcompensated by rushing. Okay, that was my second mistake. And that led to 2 questions being wrong, but one of them was a little iffy, so yeah. But notice the way that I talk about my mistakes. I talk about my mistakes not in terms of question number. Like, I don't say, oh, my mistake was number 13. That's not what I say, okay? My mistake is what I did that was wrong, okay? Whereas I think 95% of you guys, whenever you say, oh, I made a mistake, you're being very vague. You're just like, oh, I made a mistake on 13. No, you didn't make a mistake on 13. You made a mistake before 13, and that led to you getting 13 wrong. So what's the thing that made you get 13 wrong? Okay, 13, I'm just using 13 as just a random number, but 13 is just the outcome of a prior mistake. Okay, so what is that mistake? If you don't know the answer to that, then you didn't learn from 13 yet. If you didn't learn from 13 yet and you move on to the next test packet, then you are not learning very much at all. You're just wasting these test packets. Okay? Learn what you actually did wrong. Okay? So that's super important. Here. Learning from your mistakes is not going to like some website online that explains, oh, A is right because of this and C is wrong because of this. That's not learning from mistakes, okay? Learning from your mistakes is actually asking yourself, how the hell did I end up choosing C? Like, what made me choose C? And think about it. Was I overly worried about time? You know, was I rushing through the passage and I completely missed a big transition? Like, what the hell actually made you choose C? If you don't know the answer to that question, then you are not done with that question. You are not done with the question. It doesn't matter how well you can explain why A is right and C is wrong. I don't give a crap why A is right and why C is wrong. You have to tell me why you chose the wrong thing, all right? And then tell me, now, how can you choose the right thing because of your mistake, right? If you can do that, then you learned from that question. Okay. Sue, thank you for your words of encouragement. I'm really glad that you are learning a lot, focusing on writing. So you're taking... I have a thought that's in my head that I've been trying to reformulate to different kids in different ways, and I'm trying to think of a more effective way of saying it. So can you give me a second to think about this for a second? Okay, I don't know how to formulate. Okay, I was trying to create a trilemma. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a trilemma. I was trying to create Saul's trilemma for test prep mentality or something like that. I was trying to create this trilemma, but right now I can't make it, so I guess it's just too complicated. So I'll just say what I was trying to say without this sort of like cute little rhetorical device. All right, so. My thought was, if I were you, I'm in the 30s and I want to get to 40, as in I want to get 4 or fewer wrong on the writing test. And I have a week left, I would feel a lot of pressure, right? Because it seems that, from what I've gathered so far, that up until now, you have never stably gotten a 40, right? Maybe you've hit it once or twice in your life, or maybe even 3, 4, 5 times, but it's always a little unstable, that you're actually hitting, on average, you're tending to hit something like 37, right? Then I would feel a lot of pressure because my average and my expectation are different. In such situations, what should I do? Well, it is the last week coming up to the exam. So you should go with the principle of yesterday's weather. Weather is very hard to predict, okay? Weather is very hard to predict. If you look at, in today's amazing technological environment, we can actually predict weather, but even 3 days, 4 days predictions become almost highly random, okay? Because weather is a chaotic system. So honestly speaking, instead of doing all this, if you don't have like a supercomputer where you can do a bunch of calculations, honestly, just assuming that today's weather will be like yesterday's weather is is going to give you a generally better prediction than most kooky systems. Which means that in the test taking perspective, just assuming that you're going to get the same score you got yesterday or the last week is going to be a better prediction. Okay, it's going to be a better prediction. It doesn't mean you can't suddenly rain tomorrow, that you can't suddenly have sun tomorrow. You can, it could go up, it could go down, we don't know. But assuming that that's what you're going to get is going to make you, I think, mentally a little bit more comfortable. Okay, because you just know, probably that's what's going to happen. Okay, so at least have the expectations down to reduce your stress level. Okay, then now that you're assuming, if I were you, I would just assume I'm going to get a 37. But now I'm thinking of it in terms of how can I benefit though the most in the next week? That maybe from a 37, I could maybe increase the chances of a 38 or a 39 or a 40. All right. In that case, I can feel, then Saul, the teacher, can feel a little bit more comfortable answering your question. So I would say, as a teacher now, first things first, have you ever done that exercise that I've recommended on this channel several times? Where, here, I'll actually show you on the page. Okay, where you, just to make it visualizable, I kind of want to, I'll use this. And basically what you do, whatever, I'll just use red. Okay? Have you ever done this where you cover the questions all together and you just edit it? One example of a successful landfill park is, get rid of the comma, fresh skills. The park offers many recreational opportunities largely unavailable in the city, which occur on layers. That sounds kind of weird. That sounds off topic. I have to double check I have to actually read this. Okay, I can't do it. But this feels very obvious, weirdly specific about the composition of the land when we're talking about success, right? So that feels weird. Several benefits accrue, right? One successful landfill was Fresh Skills. The park offers many recreational opportunities. Several other benefits accrue. And then we talk about these other benefits: restoration, protection, solar, right? Have you ever done this? If you haven't, do it. Do it once. Do it soon, okay? Because if you do this, you're going to be able to learn something about yourself. You're going to be able to learn, forgetting all of the stupid process elimination tips and tricks about like choosing the shortest answer, choosing the longest answer, eliminating all the ones, circling only if it says it is what's the word? I forgot the word. But it diverges from the focus of the paragraph, right? Like, instead of all that stupid ABCD analysis of just like analyzing the answer choices, do you actually know what the rules are? Like, do you actually just know? Because the only way to, and not just the rules, do you know what good writing is, right? It's really important for you to understand where your weaknesses are. And this is the best way to understand your writing weaknesses, okay? Can you actually predict what the question is because you have a good sense of what might be wrong? And this is especially hard because some of these answers are no change, right? Sometimes the original sentence itself is the right sentence. Do you have a good sense of that? Okay? If you go and check. Once you do that, what you might notice, okay, is that actually you do a lot better when you don't look at ABCD and you try to predict the answer before you look at ABCD. Okay, I know a previous viewer on my streams this guy named Lan or girl named Lan, he or she was told me one of these comments on YouTube. He said, "Oh, Saul, I took your advice about writing, and yesterday I got 43 out of 44, which I never had before, something like that, right? Like his score or her score just jumped up because instead of relying on A, B, C, D and doing all the analysis on A, B, C, D, the answer choices, he just asked himself, or she just asked himself, hey, what's the right answer? What's it supposed to be? Okay, so what's it supposed to be? Just ask yourself that. Can you even predict it? If you can predict it, then my second recommendation is try taking a test that way. Okay, this is not how you're supposed to take the test. Obviously, you can't take the test like this. This is crazy. But after you do this to see how good you are at this, then try taking the test where you read first, and as you read, you try to predict what the error is. Try to predict what the error is, and then find it here. Okay, and then let me know how that goes. Because I'll be streaming, throughout the week. So if you come back, just let me know. Or you can, chat with us in the Discord channel, whatever is more comfortable for you. Okay. So that's my major tip for this particular, for the writing test. All right, I gotta go. So, hey guys, thanks for joining the stream as always. Just want to emphasize, the SAT is just one measure, okay, of your overall academic capabilities. And it's not the only thing that the colleges look at. So please don't make it the only thing that your whole life is about, okay? What colleges want are good, interesting, creative, productive, compassionate, motivated, passionate, enthusiastic, exploratory, inventive people. And the SAT is just proving that you can do one thing, right? That's all it is. So keep the big picture in mind and keep on growing. Whatever your strengths are, I'm sure you have your own strengths and that you are aware of them. Whatever your strengths are, just remember them and just keep building up on your strengths by growing every single day. That's the most important thing, not just this one number. So with that, I'll let you guys go and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.